welcome back to my channel. Today's video we're going to be doing some high-end decor shopping. I have a few different stores I want to go into today and show you guys some of my high-end picks on a budget. We're going to be going through some home decor that you can use for all seasons, all different holidays, as well as some fall decor. You guys have been loving the fall content lately, so we're going to be looking at some of that as well. There's a HomeGoods around here. There's also a TJ Maxx, Michael's, Kirkland's. We'll kind of see where we end up, but I really wanted to make a video showing you guys exactly what I look for when I'm looking for home decor. So yeah, I'm excited to be sharing this video with you. If you like home decor on a budget and if you like fall decorating, that's going to be coming soon. Make sure that you're subscribed down below. I already did make a couple videos that I can have linked down below for you for the fall season this year, so you can check those out as well. And really quickly before we go inside, I was out shooting pictures last night, so I do have some mosquito bites on my hands and things, so I apologize if you see that in the footage, but I believe that is everything. Let's go ahead and go shopping. So for today's video, we're mainly going to be focusing on HomeGoods. I'm going to be showing you guys a bunch of the things that I look for when shopping for high-end pieces on a budget for my own home. We'll be taking a little bit of a look at their fall decor as well as Kirkland's fall decor, so make sure that you stay tuned for that because there's some really good finds that I found there. But even though places like HomeGoods aren't all exactly the same, their inventory isn't the same, all of their products aren't going to be the same, I always find it very surprising that there are very similar items throughout all kinds of different HomeGoods and TJ Maxx's all around the globe. So I broke down what I usually look for into 8 different categories to give you guys some ideas as to what maybe you could look for if you're going for that very high-end, old-fashioned, sort of old world feel in your home but on a budget. So the first thing that I'm always drawn to is ceramics, pottery, anything that has a sort of stone look to it. And you guys know I love my natural textures, so I think ceramics and pottery really just fit into that category well. I love how these pieces are earthy and practical. There are so many different bowls and platters and pitchers, and the list goes on of all the different ceramic and pottery pieces that you can find all throughout HomeGoods. As you can see, I am drawn to a very white, very clean look. I also like lots of subtle textures that are put into the ceramic piece, into the stone piece. I just feel like they're very classic, they're timeless, they go with any sort of color scheme, and again, there's just so many practical uses for them. Another thing you may notice as I show you a few of these pieces is that a lot of these pieces are handmade from different countries around the world, which I think is super fun. Something I love about HomeGoods is that it is obviously part of a chain of stores, but I always feel like you can find something super unique that you can't find anywhere else. I thought these kitchen crocks were beautiful. I love the fact that they're stone and ceramic just because in a kitchen, most likely there's going to be lots of wood, so I feel like the stone would really contrast any sort of cabinet and really just bring in a lot of earthy texture. So if you're looking for a very natural, neutral, earthy piece to sort of mix into your decor, I feel like anything that's ceramic or stone would be a really nice addition and really add a nice rustic feel to any sort of space. Another thing I tend to be drawn to when shopping for my home is dainty flower textures and details. I feel like you mainly find this in more soft products such as rugs, pillows, and blankets, but I did briefly want to mention this because it is such a fun pattern that can be used all year round. And if you like a sort of antique style, vintage style, I feel like this would fit perfectly with that sort of decor. Something that HomeGoods has a lot of, surprisingly, is faux vintage glassware. And really it comes in all different shapes, sizes, even colors, such as this amber glass mug. They also had this in a few different colors, but I just love the vintage feel of all of these. As you've probably noticed, I really love small, dainty details. I feel like that really gives a unique, vintage, cozy, personalized style that really nothing else can. And I love that they have more neutral options, such as this beautiful sort of china looking teacup with the gold rim, as well as some colored glass, and even glasses that sort of have that blue rim all around the top if you like a more vibrant pop of color. But they have all different kinds of amber glass. They have jars, big vases, even these candles, which I thought were so stunning. I love the different details and geometric pattern that goes all the way around it, even into the lid. And I just feel like this sort of glassware gives your home that very high-end feel without it costing a lot of money. It's a very classic style that really can pair with any style, but really complements that old world, very rustic style very well. And even if you have a more modern style, they had some fun organic shapes to choose from, like vases and glasses. And I just truly think that HomeGoods is one of those places that has a style in so many different forms that can correlate with everyone's taste. Now, I don't know about you guys, but something something that has been super popular in my algorithm, either in Instagram, YouTube, anything like that, is marble. It's one of those things that looks super expensive, and it can actually be a very expensive material in general, but at HomeGoods I feel like you can get this material for so inexpensive in so many different forms. And as I said with the ceramic and pottery pieces, I really like how a lot of these pieces are made in different countries and just come in a lot of different forms and colors, such as these gray marbled coasters. I thought those were really fun. And something that is also very similar to stone is that marble looks different in everything. No two slabs of marble are going to look exactly the same, and there's lots of different variations. Some that have very heavy veining if you like more of a bold look, and some that are very subtle for that very spa-like traditional feel. Going along with the theme of natural textures, something that I always look for to put in my home is wicker and jute-like materials. First off, I love the versatility and texture that you can get in this material. I also threw seagrass in there as sort of a similar material. It's just a very rustic, beautiful texture that really can't be replicated with anything else. I also love the warmth that jute and things like wicker can bring into a space, especially if you like more of a tropical or beach feel, coastal feel to your home. I feel like this material can definitely give off that feel. Another thing about this material is I feel like it is very durable. These types of pieces are so well made and they're super inexpensive, but it can take a long time for them to actually wear down. So I feel like these types of products are perfect for any household. And I feel like this woven sort of material, this woven sort of texture really gives that old world feel, like it was actually weaved by someone, which I think is really fun. And this trend has been super popular. They're even making it into lamps, which I think is super fun. And again, just another way to mix another natural material into your home. Another thing my HomeGoods had was a lot of these baskets that I feel like would be perfect for popping a big plant inside. It would be perfect if you had a shorter plant that you wanted to make a little bit taller. You could put something in the bottom and you wouldn't even be able to see it to give that height to the plant and make it a little bit taller. And they just had so many beautiful styles and a few different color variations as well. And of course they had lots of trays like these that are perfect for coffee tables. You could style them an ottoman with books and coasters and a plant. It's really just such a versatile material that I don't think I'll ever get bored of. Speaking of never getting bored of design trends, this is a very old, very consistent trend that has been really big in the design world for a very long time. I think anywhere you can add in a beautiful wood tone gives that feeling of bringing the outdoors in. And something like even this tray would look beautiful styled on a vanity up against a very stone-like countertop styled with a few things. But these are just some of the wooden things that I saw in store, and I just always think it's a great option. The seventh thing I tend to look out for when shopping for my home, and is something that HomeGoods happens to have a lot of, is cozy, neutral textures. These types of things can be used all year round, and I am a very texture forward person, especially when it comes to my decor, especially towels like this where it's not something you need to feel in order to know that it has texture. You could visually see that it has texture, and it therefore will contrast with lots of things. And I love how they have so many different options for things like blankets and kitchen towels, because those things tend to go on more plain pieces, such as appliances in your kitchen or a solid colored couch. There are so many beautiful high-end looking options that are so affordable, and even bring in some of the jute textures that we were talking about earlier. So if you're ever in need for a fun textile for your space, whether that be a pillow or a blanket, anything that is a chunky knit or has lots of texture is definitely the way to go. And lastly but certainly not least, I wanted to briefly mention brass. You guys know I love my brass, I love my gold tones. When it comes to choosing metal pieces, I tend to choose brass and gold over things like silver, just because it gives that very high-end, expensive feel. And again, this is one of those trends that has been super popular for a very long time, and this look is mixed in with other materials. There's also very intricate gold frames that I happen to love, and just so many different ways to sprinkle some warmth as well as some intrinsic details into your space. And lastly, before we leave HomeGoods and head over to Kirkland's, I'm going to show you guys a few of the fall things that they had out for this year. Lots of woven, very natural textures, which of course by now you guys probably know I love. I thought this wooden pumpkin was super unique. It had a very upscale, high-end feel and lots of fun details. There's also lots of fun florals. For some reason this year I've been really loving the sunflower look. I tend to like the ones that are a little bit more of a muted yellow, and this one happened to come in a really fun vase that had a lot of texture. I thought their florals looked very realistic as well, and I do love a little pop of color for fall. I really like this rusty orange color, so if you really like that style as well, HomeGoods would be a good place to look. Another thing I was very surprised by that I didn't expect were the selection of wreaths. I loved how fluffy and neutral they were, and just the fun little details that were super realistic looking and just give a very natural feel for fall. I also think they would make really great transitional pieces from summer to fall, so if you're in need for some very unique fall pieces, HomeGoods would be a really great place to look. And lastly, before we head home and I show you guys my haul of goodies that I picked up today, I wanted to stop into Kirkland's. This is one of those stores that I really don't have near me, so whenever I get to go into Kirkland's and look at their seasonal decor, I feel like it is such a treat. They had some really beautiful sort of fairy tale like pumpkins. They had some in that sort of light orange color as well as that light green color. Another thing I didn't know that they had a lot of were these florals. I thought they were so realistic looking. They definitely were a little bit more expensive than your average Hobby Lobby florals, but they're so realistic and I love the muted tones. These baskets were absolutely stunning. I love how they had two different variations. I feel like you could hang this anywhere on a wall or even use it to replace a wreath on a front door, and it'd just be really fun to fill with a bunch of wispy, very fun florals for the season. And again, some beautiful wreaths that came in all different colors and styles, and like we were talking about earlier in the video, just lots of natural textures, lots of stone, lots of very soft textiles and different patterns and floral patterns as well. So I'll show you guys a few of my favorite pieces and then we will head home for a haul. So we are now back from HomeGoods. I have some things to share with you that I picked up. I didn't find a lot of fall specific things, but there were quite a few different things that I saw in stores, so hopefully you guys got some inspiration for that for fall. But I did pick up some basic pieces that I'm excited to use all year round, and a couple of them are really going to bring in that cozy factor for fall and sort of be a nice in-between between the transition from summer to fall, if that makes sense. So I'm super excited to share them with you. The question is, where do we start? Let's start with these. Okay, so I love looking at the coasters at HomeGoods. There are so many of them. I was digging around through them trying to find the best ones, the ones that I love the most, and these are what I found. So these are some marble coasters. As I mentioned in the video, marble is super expensive looking. It's also just a really big home decor trend. There were all kinds of marble dishes and trays and serving boards. There were so many throughout the store, as you could see. These were only $5.99, which is absolutely crazy. Marble being such an expensive material, $6 for 4 coasters is just unbelievable. So I'm gonna try to get one of these out because I feel like I'm not doing them justice. They sort of have like a nice, very, very subtle sparkle that kind of lets you know that it's stone, but it's not like sparkly, if that makes sense. So here's a little bit more of what it looks like up close. I love how it sort of has the veining in there, just a little bit of color without being too crazy. And yeah, all of them are a little bit different, and I guess you could call it a pearl essence. They all just sort of have just a little glow in them, which I think is so fun. Up next, I will admit I was influenced a little bit. I'm pretty sure Caitlin Cash here on YouTube has this, and I want to say maybe Jenna Pierce. Either way, there are so many creators on YouTube that have this book, and I saw it. It was $19.99, so I thought that was a pretty good price, especially for a really pretty coffee table book. So this is what it looks like. It's called Made for Living, and it is by Amber Lewis. What sold me on this was, first of all, the cover is absolutely stunning, as well as the sort of binding on it. I feel like it'd look perfect on a shelf, coffee table. You could put it underneath a console. You can use it to elevate things, sort of stack it with other books. You could put it up with a bunch of other books with bookends to sort of display them. You could put it in a little basket, sort of like how I have on my end table right now that has like a bunch of magazines and like coffee table books in them. So I just think they're so pretty. And being like a design person, someone who loves to look at different home designs and such, I feel like these photos are absolutely stunning. Here's a couple just to show you. So just like a fun dining room there. This living room looks beautiful. Love that. And yeah, just a bunch of inspiring, fun pages to look through. I love design books. I love getting inspired by them. It's just like a designer interior design decorating book that I think is going to be really fun. Like look at that kitchen. That is so beautiful. So I think this is going to be super fun. I hope we can get lots of inspiration from it. And a lot of the other books, or I guess the couple that I looked at that were sort of in my price range that I was willing to spend on this, they weren't necessarily my style, so I thought that this was perfect. So absolutely love this. And lastly, well, I technically have a couple more things, but they go together. So I found this one at HomeGoods. By the way, all of this was from HomeGoods with the exception of one thing, which I'll get to. I got these little bronze sort of gold candlesticks, or candlestick holders I should say. So we have some that are a little bit more of like a farmhouse vibe. They're a little bit bulkier, I guess, so they're a little bit wider, and they just sort of give a very farmhouse feel. I'm just realizing there's a water bottle in my background, so just ignore that. But I wanted to go with something a little bit more sleek, a little bit more modern. You guys know that I love my antiques. I love a very vintage, old world feel, but I do like to mix in some more modern touches to sort of break it all up. So I loved how simple these were. The bases are just this sort of square shape. They're just like rounded squares, so like the corners aren't sharp or anything like that. And I just think these are super pretty. I would have gone with like black or something, but the cabinet that I plan on putting these on, there's a bunch of black frames on the wall. You probably know exactly what I'm talking about. And then the hardware on that cabinet is also black. So I wanted to go with something a little bit different, and it's actually going to match the lamp. On the other side, there's going to be like books and an urn there, so it's not going to clash or anything. So I just thought these were so fun, and I got these for $12.99. Another one of those things that I've just been looking for, but just waiting for the right price. And I think these are so pretty, and I'm so excited to use these. These are also perfect for transitioning from summer to fall. Just add a little bit of a cozy ambiance. And this is such a good deal. I had to go to Michael's because HomeGoods didn't have any tapered candles. I have never owned tapered candles in my life, which I am very excited to own some now. But HomeGoods was out of the candles that I needed. They had a bunch of these, but they had them in like packs of like 6 or 8, and I didn't want to like purchase a bunch of them and not use a lot of them. So I did head over to Michael's and got these for I think maybe like $2 each. And the good thing about Michael's is, as you can see, they're individually wrapped and individually sold, so you can just grab as many as you'd like. And a quick hack, these don't fit in here perfectly, as you can see. It's sort of a little wobbly and just sort of like leans off to one side if it's stationary. I did see something online one time where you can like wrap tape around the bottom and just sort of keep on wrapping it until it like fits in there nicely. So I think that's what I'm gonna do with those. There were a couple different styles. This one's the more tapered candle. There was one that was just sort of the same thickness all the way up, a little bit more of like a modern style, I guess. It was just like a plain cylinder, but I thought that the sort of classic style would look really pretty, sort of contrasted against the modern sort of bronzy candlesticks. Anyway, that is going to wrap up today's video. I hope you guys got lots of inspiration and learned a lot about the things that I look for when I go shopping for my home, or just things that I would look for. I also hope you saw some fun fall decor that excited you. I definitely did see some, but it just wasn't anything that I needed or something that I didn't already have in my collection. But definitely some really good finds if you're interested in shopping at Kirkland's or HomeGoods, and also some ideas for transitioning your decor from summer to fall, and you just found some really simple, inexpensive, and affordable ways to cozy up your home before actually decorating for fall and before fall is actually here. So if you like the video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up, you subscribe. Like I said, if you wanted some more fall specific videos, I already have made a couple of those on my channel that I'll have linked down below for you, and some fall decorating is definitely going to be coming soon. I also have a party prep video coming, I believe, either next week or the week after, and it's just gonna be so fun to bring in the season while also wrapping up summer with you. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for spending some time with me over on my channel today, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, you guys.